Do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself implicitly, unwaveringly, wholeheartedly? Do you trust yourself wholeheartedly in every area of your life? That is the question. Trust, self-trust. Trust is, trust is different from faith. They seem very similar, but they're different. Because faith is more of moving without evidence and hope that things will work out. But trust is built. It's grown. It starts little by little and grows, just like a plant or a tree. Or no, I'd say more so like a plant, because it's like it can take so long to grow and to build a health of trust, but yet it don't take much to destroy it. Self-trust. Let's look at a definition of what trust may be and what it does. Trust, what is it? It's a gatekeeper to the life and death of relationships and a gauge to faith. What's it do? It governs the growth of developing relationship quality of love's attributes. Trust in self. I think, no, I don't think, I know. At this point, I know. It's fact. The more areas a person has self-trust, that they trust themselves, and the higher that quality of trust, if it goes all the way into like an unwavering trust where you can trust yourself wholeheartedly in whatever area that is in life, and the more areas you can trust yourself wholeheartedly, I think then the better it is for a person to be able to find likewise. But also, on the other side of the coin, the less a person trusts themselves, the more they're going to find other people that don't trust themselves. And guess what? Here's the sad thing of life. Trust is basically a gauge to the possibility and of developing love. Doesn't matter whether it's friendships, work friendships, acquaintances, family, friends, lovers, however it may be. Without trust, the lower the quality of trust, then the less possibility of quality relationships of love's attributes. And that is a fact. The more areas where the trust is low or non-existent even, the more areas a person has in themselves that they cannot trust themselves will govern their ability to have meaningful relationships. Meaningful relationships that are of high quality, that go in depth. They're more than just superficial. It's more than just there's connection, is what I'm saying. The higher the quality of trust, the more love there can be. The more love there can be, the more connection. I guess they all kind of interplay, those three. The more connection, the better the quality of connection. There's very vague connections, just superficial connections, not really nothing there, no depth whatsoever. And then as that relationship quality increases, the trust is the foundation that makes it all happen. That's why it's not too good to rush into relationships too quick and give up too much trust, because it gives up too much trust where a very superficial, low quality relationship forms real quick. And it's not that solid. And what I mean by that is there's got to be several areas of trust. Self-trust. I think the better a person is good at knowing themselves honestly, and what they can really trust themselves with, and why, and when, and what they can't trust themselves with. I think the better a person can have a bunch of areas in their life where they really don't trust themselves too much, but as long as they're aware of it and honest about it and can look at it and can face it, that itself creates a foundation, because there's an integrity there. But it can be hard to look at. It can be, depending on a different amount of factors, especially when, my God, the human mind, the human psyche is just unbelievably complex to solve or to even run a diagnostics on, especially since how it's easy for the human psyche to, fall into sentimental delusions and be delusional and give inaccurate feedback. Trust. For 33 years, I could not trust myself to not smoke cigarettes because I was hopelessly addicted to them since I was a small child. And I knew there was no trust there. I had no trust in myself that I could quit. I had tried so many times in so many different ways. Never could get it done. I think one of the last times I had I quit quitting, because over a period of about 15 years worth, I'd say more than half the addiction of smoking cigarettes out of that 33 years, I would say about 17 years of it, I was trying to quit. Literally trying to quit periodically, trying different angles. And I would try each year, and it would fail. I would try again, it fell, try again, fell. Sometimes I did it in rapid concessions, and then a couple of times I would go a couple of years and then try again wholeheartedly for a while. Never could build that trust until, lo and behold, at the end of 2017, I'd hit a spot in my life to where I fully decided I either needed to fully commit to living somehow and form some resemblance of a successful living. And I'm not talking about being like a billionaire or nothing. I'm talking about just being a decent human being, or fully commit to dying and get it done immediately. So that was my choice, and I wrestled with that for a whole evening and really, really let it go into my innermost being, because I was just sick alive, humiliated. And at that point, I couldn't trust myself with nothing. Alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, relationships. The only thing I could trust myself with was the fact that I would mess things up. Did you see that? No love there. No self-love. No, it couldn't be built. There was no trust for it to be built on. But anyways, make a long story short, I committed to myself that I was going to spend the rest of my life figuring out how I was going to commit to living somehow. Basically that, living somehow, and to make it the best quality I could every single day, whatever that means. That time, got some pen and paper, did a bunch of notebook paper writing about what I thought success was, wrote out a bunch of definitions of what it could be or might be or what I wanted it to be, wrote out the fact that I was going to quit smoking somehow, some way, even though I had failed with all the quit smoking products, that I would get all the hooks out of me somehow, and that I would become a normal human being somehow, that I would have quality relationships somehow, that I would be a decent family man somehow. That trust, and I started building that trust little by little, little by little. The first areas of trust was starting to reach for motivational speakers with YouTube, letting that play in the background every time I'm doing something or at work or whatever, playing those motivational things. Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, I mean, there's a bunch of them. Eddie Pinero, lots of oodles and oodles of them. So many times in searching of why, what was causing all that failure, what was causing all that failure, and working on that trust. At that time, I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but now that I'm going into the 7th year of it, or almost 7 years, 6 years of it, at the end of 6 years of it, I realized what I've been doing this entire time, day by day, is building that self-trust, building that trust. And it's taken all this time, and it's been a hard road, a very hard road. And it's proving to be very worthwhile. Am I sitting on top of a bunch of money, making a bunch of money? No. Am I making a bunch of passive income? No, not yet. But I trust myself that I can, will, and I am. And that's just one angle. I trust myself at this point to know that I will get it done somehow, some way. I trust that everything I've been doing and learning will start coming into play. I trust that I will bypass all my subconscious guards and rewire all my programs, and I trust that I can create me into the man I want and need to be. Trust. So it's no wonder that I went so many years with so much failure, because I had no trust in myself. No trust in myself. No trust in heart, mind, body, and soul. If you just pick those 4 corners and then just make a big list for each one of those 4 corners, nothing. No trust whatsoever. It's like, how does a person even live like that? And the answer is, they don't. All you got to do is go to any big city, look at the homeless section. All those people, same thing. Same dilemma, same thing. Trust, self-trust. They ain't got no self-trust. The only thing they can trust is to know that they're going to do all the wrong things to self-sabotage. That's the only thing they can trust. Yeah, it's pretty sad, right? But you know, it goes into a lot of other areas of life too. It's not just alcoholics and addicts. There's many ways it comes about. So anyways, self-trust. So my question is to you, going by this measure, trust, What is it? It's a gatekeeper to the life and death of relationships and a gauge to faith. What's it do? It governs the growth of developing relationship quality of love's attributes. So honestly, can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I trust myself wholeheartedly in every area of my life today? Because if not, then there's definitely things to work on. And then even if so, there's still things to work on. It's a long day in school. I think trust, it's just the same as like food and water. It's something that's it's gonna be ongoing. It's got to be cultivated. It's got to be given attention. It's got to be deliberate. It's got to be an intentional thing. Winging it, not good. It might work by winging it. Anyways, have a good one. See you in the funny papers.